All right, it's 6:30. We'll get started. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Chris, will take the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Scott Meyer.
Here.
Dan Hughey.
Here.
Chris McCright here. Ed Brand. Here. Mike Kelty.
Here.
Stacy Nielsen.
You said she was gonna come in the mode.
There she is. She's on.
Yeah, there we go.
Stacy's here too.
I'm here. Sorry, couldn't unmute.
To approve our meeting agenda, if I can get a motion for that.
Motion to approve agenda?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. To approve our minutes from August, September, and October, we need to do this individually. So I'll be looking for a motion to approve August 1st.
Motion to approve August 1st minutes?
Second.
Motion and a second. Mike and I were not here, so we cannot vote on that. So the other three, indicate saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. August is approved. September. Dan was the only one here, so I'm looking for a motion from anybody that can.
I'll make a motion that we approve the September 18th minutes.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor indicate saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. October minutes, looking for a motion for anybody but Dan.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Favor indicate saying aye.
Aye.
There. No old business, new business. RDC to consider adopting an annual spending plan for 2026. Adam?
All right, for the record, I'm Adam Zaklakowski, the Planning and Building Director for the town. So if you recall, we issued adopted one of these annual spending plans last year. It's a relatively recent requirement under Indiana law. And the template that was followed basically follows what the law requires. And then once you approve it, then we can just send a copy to town council as an FYI. I was told they don't have to formally adopt it. But then most importantly, it gets uploaded to that gateway program, the DLGF website, and then we'd be in full compliance. So there's really nothing out of the ordinary or earth shattering about this. Basically we have to outline what our debt is, what our spending plan is, as it says. So if you have any questions on anything in the document, I'm happy to address those questions. Thank you.
So Adam, I see we've got the SC bond or economic development bond as a potential. If that ends up not going through, is that going to be a problem on the DLGF side? I wouldn't think it is.
No, I didn't think so. You could probably go either way. You could either have it in there or not in there, but I figured if we had the information, in fact, the numbers that we used were the same from the Merchot or the Loft project, just as a placeholder for that. There's other language in this spending plan that basically says that, there are unforeseen expenditures that come up. So,
You think it makes sense?
yeah.
Motion to approve the spending plan?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Aye or no?
Okay.
That was quick.
All in favor, indicate saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Review of financial. Any questions there? What's the motion to approve?
Motion to approve financials.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Approval of invoices. Krohn was the only one.
I make a motion to approve Krohn invoice for 2008-27-50. I'll second.
Motion to the Krohn invoice, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Public comment. I'm a little disappointed. Staff comments. No, don't make it.
All right, since it was a fairly light agenda, there were a few different items that I was curious to receive your input on for discussion. So the first one is 124 E Staat Street, the funeral home. Unfortunately, the town did not receive any responses to the RFP, which was, I believe, November 12th. It was somewhat surprising that we didn't receive at least one, but it is what it is. However, Indiana Landmarks reached out to me and they said, what's the latest with the project? Did you receive any responses? And they said that they may be willing to purchase the house and to invest in some historically appropriate modifications to the home, updates to the home. So he wanted to see if the RDC was interested in having him come in and talk about what they may be able to do or not do. And I thought it sounds like a good idea, but I wanted to see what your thoughts were.
What's the position of the park or the parking area?
That would still remain ours. I think that would, the directives that I've received from you all and council is it's pretty much a non-starter. And the parking area was the main reason, of course, for buying it. So, and I think I would assume they'd be amenable to letting us keep the parking since it's not a part of the historic.
And about the other
area.
aspect of this property, Joe was going to do some improvements. Is that going to be possible there too?
Yeah, in terms of tearing down the garage in the back, I would think that'd be okay. In order to widen that, wanted to widen the alley turn a bit. Yeah, I mean, and for that, frankly, we could issue a demolition permit whenever you're ready. Even regardless of what Landmarks does. In fact, it might be easier to do that sooner rather than later. I don't think there's really any historic value to the garage in the back. Yeah. 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 But yeah, I think we could move independently of that since we own the property. And
Well, I personally think that'd be a good way to pursue this white elephant.
I think so too.
Did they hint at all on what they want to do with the property?
No, what they would want to do is they would want to get it back in a productive use. So ultimately back on the tax rolls, and then they would attach protective covenants, historic covenants on the house that would, which we could do as well if the town were to, if we had a user, we could do something very similar. But again, in my opinion, since we don't have anybody at the table right now, for whatever reason, that wants to go forward with it. I think pursuing the Indiana landmarks idea is probably a good one to make sure that the building itself is preserved, and hopefully they can.
But they're not
find something.
interested in purchasing.
It kind of, that's what we'd have to talk about. If they are interested in purchasing it and owning it, or if the town even wants to do that, we may say, no, we still want to lease it or whatever it may be. But that would be something that should be discussed.
Well, I'm the standalone that absolutely love that building. But we're just wasting our time. Nobody's got the money. They don't have the money to fix that building up. I would absolutely love to see it restored. I think we're just beating a dead horse.
Have they been in the building? To your knowledge?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think that could be a pretty big stretch for a not-for-profit to fund that and so forth. I tend to agree with that, unfortunately.
I mean, we had somebody that owned it. And you hear different stories that they'd come up with a different project, just didn't want to mess with that, but. And I'm sorry, if they had the money and it was a money maker, I think they would have fixed it up and made it into something. And then we've offered to essentially give it away, and they still couldn't make it work. I mean, I just, obviously it's everybody's decision, but I am gonna speak my piece that I'm sorry, I love that building, but we're just wasting time. I think that the end result's gonna be the same. That there's nothing to do with it. Because it's just in such bad condition. But again, it's the entire committee that makes the decision, not me. But I am gonna voice my opinion on that, so. Obviously, the majority is gonna rule, that's the way we'll go.
So Adam so they're proposing if we're interested in leasing or selling this, they're gonna bring a presentation to us.
Yeah, I think at this point, it would be it's a non-committal thing. He could probably come as soon as the next meeting to discuss what they had in mind in more detail.
I go along with Scott. I mean, it's gonna take a ton of money to get that thing profitable and get it fixed up to where it can be open to the public. I know that. And
So what's the alternative? The ton of money comes in honoring the stipulations that come with the historic building, right?
Correct.
So there's no takers and we're not interested, then what?
Well, originally we discussed tearing it down, filling it in.
And then it becomes more valuable.
Well, it becomes a parking lot, that's what it was.
It's an expensive parking lot, but it's a parking lot.
And that's the only option.
That was the intent, is to make more parking for downtown.
Mhm.
And again, I don't think in our hearts, none of us want that, but at some point, it's just a reality.
and if I'm correct, it's not a historical building.
Well, it is,
It
it's
is
not,
registered.
yeah, it's not on the registry, right? But, if nominated, it would easily be on the registry. There was a, analysis that was done quite a while ago, for all of Hancock County, and that building was, cited as an outstanding contributor of a building of that type in Hancock County, countywide. So the other thing too, that I would advise on is, the problem that we're trying to solve is not, imperative that it be solved at this moment. So for instance, in terms of having additional parking downtown, the need for parking is always an ongoing need in the town. And so it's not going to change overnight one way or the other if we knock it down and put it in a parking lot. Secondly, I think it would be a much different scenario if the building was in such poor condition that it was blight, that it was causing a public health issue, and we're certainly not anywhere remotely close to that point. So, my best advice would be to continue to explore options and continue to at least moving on exploring options in a diligent way.
Are we just gonna continue until it is blight?
Well, I mean, you know, it's, like I said, I think if the building were unsalvageable, then yeah, absolutely, but I don't.
How many years is that empty?
Probably about 4.
Now, if it's registered, if someone registers it, then where do we stand with it?
Well, one thing to clarify is that if a building ends up going on the National Register for Historic Places, it doesn't carry as much weight as one would think it does. So for instance, there's really two main benefits to having a property on the National Register for Historic Places. Number one is that the owner of that property can take advantage of federal historic tax credits to update that building. The second thing is the notoriety of having a plaque on the building and saying that it's on the register. But at least as far as a private entity owning a building, I can't speak for government. We might have to go through if it was on the register, we might have to go through a different process. But definitely, if it was privately owned and somebody wanted to knock it down, there's no prohibition in doing that, even if it was on the register.
I can add on to that. Ultimately, Marion University is now going to have that to add on to their campus. If we'd held on to it and had to go through, and it was historical land, it would have been much more difficult for state government to move forward than it is for a private entity. I think that's correct. I guess my concern is it's already been empty for 4 years. We've not seen a lot of movement on it. I kind of feel like we're continuing to kick the can here. So.
And that was my only point is, I mean, we just offered to give it to someone. And they can't make it work. That we were just short of essentially signing it over. And again, I love that building. I think it's beautiful. But we have to look forward, and we're spending a ton of money on the park. And we want more events out there. And there's nowhere for those people to park. And I can't say it enough. I love that building. It's absolutely beautiful. It pains me to have the position I do, but I think we're kicking a can down the road. Nobody's got the money to fix that thing.
Chris, I can't remember. Have you ever been inside that building?
I have, yeah.
I thought you gave us some feedback on what bad shape it was.
I mean, the idea of it.
It's a very large scale project. I mean, meaning somebody with some funding could take care of it. I think Adam mentioned, I mean, it's not falling down.
Correct.
I think there's much worse properties out there.
Okay.
It's just big. It's a big home.
Yeah,
It's a big building.
Utilities been maintained all along? Do you know?
I think they're still.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what kind of burden is it for the town here? I mean, other than the little bit of grass there is to mow. I mean, the parking lot's gonna have to be cleared this winter for the first time probably by the town. Other than that,
Are you sure?
you're not spending much time over there.
Are you sure maintaining heat? Okay. Well, again, I'm just one person. I'm open to whatever this committee wants to do.
Well, from what I can tell in there, it looks like all the framework was still solid. They put in. So, they pulled some panels down on the ceiling, and it looks like it's been, they put like paneling over stuff before, and it's just kind of been cobbled up. It needs to come down, but in my opinion, probably strip most of the wall coverings off, rewire it, replumb it, lower wall covering.
Yeah, those homes built in that era will last far longer than any
roof's in good shape.
more
It's
recent.
some promising stuff, but was it these other people that wanted to do something with it? A free building can't make it.
Well, the Harm dentistry was really interesting. And once they looked at it, they came in here, and after the RFP, I guess, I don't know if we just give them time to think, maybe go a different direction or what, we were just as surprised as anybody that they depended on it. We thought they wanted.
They may have spent a lot more on that Harmony dentistry building than they planned, so I think maybe.
Well, I think they want us to support them too.
Yeah. It is what it is on that. Or what are we, I mean, are we looking for action here or just some continued input here? Now, this is, I guess I'm trying to figure out what we're looking for here.
Well, I would say just for, what we want to do, what do we want to do going forward? If there is a consensus from at least the RDC, I think the council would absolutely need to weigh in on it as well, but,
I think we're chasing the train.
That's my opinion.
That's fair, I think.
I would agree with that. I mean, we're not tearing the building down tomorrow, so.
It's something. That's awesome, but I'm looking for an end date when we're tired, when we're done kicking the can.
And Adam, you don't know if they have something in mind already?
I don't know.
And I just want to weigh in, I mean, you're right, I mean, getting on that registry doesn't mean we can't do some things with it, but the optics of tearing down a building that's on a registry, that could be a problem for us optically, not. Yeah. So.
County, yeah.
That's the other part of this, the optics of that, but
Again, we have to put you guys through and keep getting, look at the inside and get you. Looking.
okay. I think what, I guess.
Is that the general consensus? We want to let them go?
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I'm with you, but I'd like to
Okay.
know if we get through this part and we don't get any warm fuzzies, what's next?
Because again,
Okay, sounds,
I was on the internet when all that happened. It was started by one person. And I'm not mad about it by any stretch, because I love that building, but it's easy to pitch a fit about something. I want that to stay, well, then do something with it. Oh, well, no, I don't mean that. I mean, you guys take care of it and make it work. And that's just not how this works. So,
It's a beautiful building. I'm looking at it right now.
oh yeah, it's awesome.
okay,
That
Then-
give you what you need for that one?
yeah, I think so, yeah, for sure, then,
Yeah.
well, they're not for profit. But, what I can say is, they definitely have plentiful experience all over the state of dealing with these types of problems. So I think if there's any organization that can do that well in Indiana, it would be that one. So, all right, moving along. Next one is, I wanted to get your thoughts on is the Crouse property. So, this property in the industrial park right over here, it would be at the southwest corner of Ohio Street and Business Park Drive. It's really the last bit of open land that's in the existing industrial park. The current owner, Mike Crouse, is open to the idea to selling it. And I was curious to see if this group would be interested in pursuing a couple of appraisals on the property. There's no commitment, of course, to buy or to sell, but just to see what it's worth. And to see if the RDC would ultimately be interested in purchasing it if it's at a fair price. I think from a planning and economic development perspective, the intriguing thing about that land is that it's already zoned accordingly. There's utilities that are there. It's been in the TIF district for quite some time. So if there is an industrial developer that's looking to come in, looking to build a building, and there's a job generating use on that property, then the town could ultimately either give that property away, could sell it at a reduced rate, all in lieu of a tax abatement. There's all sorts of different things you can do that, in my view, it opens up some different opportunities. But I think lastly, if we got authorization to at least do a couple of appraisals on it, then we can see, well, how much is it and what's a fair price for this property, and take it from there. So I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. It's $750 maybe. A little higher, yeah, $2,000.
Yeah, I thought we had it done before, and they were 1,800 apiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird, I wouldn't even say anything, but
And I just had some thought, and I know Adam and I had talked about this, but I wonder would it make sense to try to work with Crouse to get an offer on like first right of refusal rather than us spend the money on it and it sit there like the funeral home is, and we've spent money on it and we haven't gotten any buyers because the property's been sitting there ready to go for like 21, 22 years.
Is
So-
it for sale now, Joe?
He had a for sale sign out there, but I don't think he was using any kind of realtor or anything. I think he just had a big plywood sign or something out there marketing it. Or did he have a realtor on it?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. And he also, he's interested in expanding his existing building that's there. So the timing could be interesting, and then obviously he could use those funds to do that. But so you're saying maybe the other option would be to explore doing
Yeah, if we
an
find out what
option
the
contract.
value of it is and then get him to agree to that first right of refusal.
Yeah.
And then it would be in our benefit to go out and try to promote the property. We need to get a realtor, do something to try to get it sold. And then that first right of refusal, then would keep him from, say, trying to be polite here, but if he wants X amount of dollars for the property and we go through all the hassle of finding a buyer, somebody that's really wanting it gets on the hook, then that keeps that price from going up after we find somebody. So if we have first right of refusal, then say if we're gonna buy it for X amount, first right of refusal, then if we have to, we can purchase it and then flip it over to the next people.
What was the realtor price on it? Do you know?
I don't know. I had never spoken with the realtor about it.
Adam, can you quickly bring it up?
Yeah. Let's see. I think so.
and I guess maybe you guys need to talk a little slower because I'm not catching on. I mean, he's been trying to sell it for 20 years. Why are we wanting to buy it and then try to sell it?
I think he's actually had it on the market for that long. It's probably been about 1 year, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all along he didn't know what he was doing. Really disappointing because with having a TIF set up, it's been empty and we could have been benefiting off this dollars off of the new construction years ago, but since it's an empty field for so long.
Thinking of Burger King?
Chick-fil-A.
Oof. That would be good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Need a stoplight out there.
Well, we gotta get something out here because as soon as my river boat gets here, we're gonna be there. I ordered that boat years ago. I don't know where it's at.
He's got a better chance than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so. So it'd be this property right here, 2.46 acres. And then, you know, I think if we were able to figure out, well, what's the price, what's it valued at? Then, the property owner here as well, I think I think it's Randy Eskew. He may be, amenable to selling. It's a rental property that he has as well. So, you know, you can see the size of the property relative to, other existing buildings in the area. So it can definitely, you know, accommodate a good sized building.
So that's 2 acres, 2 point something.
Almost 2.5.
Yeah, 2.46. Yep.
What is Dean asking? Stamp.
I don't know.
And it's still for sale. And that's not a great spot. But again, I didn't, and I'm speaking before I should, but we just took a hit on our future income.
Yeah.
And we just spent 1 point something million on the park. And I'm not opposed to this, I'm not seeing why we would be interested in doing that. If somebody wanted that, I would think he'd have sold it by now. I don't know why we would spend the money and get in the real estate business. But again, it's the entire committee, not just me. I'll say something.
I guess that, I mean, part of me, is it worth getting the appraisal to know what we're dealing with? But I tend to agree with the TIF dollars getting truncated. And the big amount we're throwing out already for landmark and the potential overlay. It may be a little too much.
A good point is, said there's nobody bought it in 20 years.
Correct.
Well, but to Joe's point, they may not have been for sale that long.
Well, yeah.
He's had it that long.
I think he was saying that David, he's going to do something.
Sure.
Isn't,
But it's been on the market for a couple, 3 years, then.
so I'm kind of confused. Isn't the property on the corner there potentially being developed? And with that, maybe that property becomes more valuable, but Crouse should know that. But I'm conflicted here. If that property becomes developed on the point on the corner, seems to me it'd become more valuable, but then Crouse should know that also and should recognize his opportunity there, I think.
He's a shrewd individual too.
I don't know.
He's not gonna give anything away. I know that for a fact.
Was that Joe? You know, just shout it out.
Felt like it was just.
All right.
We're the only ones that give things away.
Well, I mean, the other thing to keep in mind, and that'll lead me to my next point after we're done with this discussion, but the other thing to keep in mind is that, it is fairly common for redevelopment commissions or subsidiaries when you have a TIF to purchase property when it becomes available. So, we obviously don't do it that often here. There hasn't been much of a need to do it just yet, but everything that I've experienced, that I've talked to, that I've learned from folks that do a lot of different TIF projects is that the advice that has been common is when the municipality has the opportunity to purchase a property that can be used for economic development, always look to do that because it's you can control the destiny on it and you can use it as financial incentives if you want to for different projects. So it's an important tool.
And I
that
think the
one
price
can
is.
use. For sure, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need the appraisal.
Do we need a motion to get the appraisal?
Mm-hmm. Adam, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I would say if you did, 2 appraisals,
So that's gonna
I'd recommend.
be
4 or 5 grand.
3,000, yeah.
Closer to 4.
And then you just look like it. You just look like it.
right, for sure.
I mean, the other option is, instead of spending money on appraisal, reach out to a couple of commercial realtors and just get a buyer's opinion.
That's true.
They typically don't charge for that.
Yep.
But, I mean, you have to assume if that's 2.5 acres and Deaton's asking $750,000 for a half an acre, that you're talking a couple, $3 million for that property.
Mm,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got good visibility.
I think this is a good,
Right.
I think what Scott was saying is a good possibility if it could be done, have some local realtors give us a professional, well, not a professional, but a ballpark estimate of what the property is
The
worth.
buyer's opinions all. it is.
Buyer's
Yeah.
opinion,
And then,
But as I think about it, what stops us from just calling Mike and going, what are you gonna want for that? Cause even if the realtor says it's worth 500,000, if he says, I want 3 million for it.
yeah, that one house, we know what the value was, pay for it, I'm with you.
I mean, why not just reach out to Mike and ask him what he's gonna want?
Well, I did talk to him and he's open to, I think he also has a hard time ascertaining what the value is right now because, the market is robust and there's a lot of different things going on. So what is a fair price? So.
Did you tell him we're really nice people?
So, I think, what I talked to him is I said, if the RDC was interested in doing the appraisals, would be willing to consider it. There's obviously no obligation one way or the other for them or for us, but I think just to have that information, like you said, there is a good point that you have about the kind of an opinion from a couple of realtors is the other option the other route we could go to.
Because I mean, in my perspective, that's just reality, is if they say it's worth $2.5 million, are we still interested? And I
Right.
think we bring that back next month and ask that question.
Right.
But that's
I imagine Crouse knows what he wants for it right now.
He may or may not, he may not be up in tune in what that might be worth, just like we're not.
I think getting it from the real estate brokers at least gives us a better idea, and then we can choose where we want to spend 4 or 5 grand to get a full appraisal.
Get the realtor estimate, like you say, and then approach Crouse with that and see if it's
Yeah.
something. Again,
Yeah.
I'm fine
That's
with
enough.
that.
because I know we're-
Then we know we're done.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
And we've not spent it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go that route? Is that the consensus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
No, wait a minute, let me throw something in there, because I know realtors do that. They might want a couple $100 to do that.
Well, that's better than 4,000.
Yeah,
And would everybody be amenable to giving Adam a $500 budget to get these numbers from a realtor if they ask for some money? Can I get a motion for
I'll make a motion that, we give Adam permission to, bargain with the realtor to get a estimate on these properties not to exceed $500.
second,
that? Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, good deal. The other item I want to talk about is related to that is a number of other, I shouldn't say a number, but some other communities around the state. Carmel comes to mind first and foremost, but I believe there's other larger cities that do this, is they have what's called a Community Development Corporation, a CDC, and it is a mechanism under Indiana law in which a municipality can hold property. And there's some different opportunities that are opened up. We don't have this in Fortville right now, but I wanted to see, Alex, do you have any experience with community development corporations, CDCs, and can talk a little bit about it? I wanted to see if we wanted to investigate creating the legal framework to do that.
I don't, I know what they are, but I've never helped establish one, and I've not worked with a community that has one.
I just Googled it. It appears there are a lot.
Mhm.
Zionville, Speedway, all of these CDCs, some just a few other ones.
Well, the point is, well, that's what I'm getting at. The point,
sorry.
yeah, the point is, I don't know 100% of all the benefits of it. All I know is that it is much like, for example, you know how we have the Economic Development Corporation and the I think, well, we have Redevelopment Corporation, of course, RDC. So with the EDC, having these different organizations create different opportunities for borrowing, for purchase of property. So I guess what I'm asking for is if the RDC is open to the idea of learning more about the CDC, and if so, if you say yes, we'd like to investigate that more, to have Alex maybe dig into a little bit more if there's some benefits to the town for creating a CDC. Pros and cons.
So that'd be another committee that you'd have to adopt of individuals.
I get this.
CDCs are not for profit.
Well, there's that. That's correct. There's that aspect of it. Some are separate from government, but what I'm talking about are the ones that are under the wing of the municipal government.
Okay.
So like the Carmel CDC,
So
for
that'd be
example. I think Noblesville might have a CDC.
So that'd be another group that you'd have to appoint people to do on.
That's what we have to find out. Probably, but
So there's
we have to find that out.
that led you to that path of asking about this. What led you
Right.
here?
Well, yeah, we've had, there have been a number of conversations with different economic development officials really over the last 6-8 months that I've had that have said, oh, you know, different places have a CDC and you can do different incentives through your CDC. You can do bonding through that. And do you have a CDC? So no, we don't, but we're willing to learn more about it. So if this body is open to it, to at least learning more about it, again, non-committal, trying to see if that's a good thing for the town, if it opens up more avenues for.
I don't know why you need permission.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, Scott, I know that if I say I've done research on CDCs, you would be the first to say, Adam, why didn't you bring this to our attention? With all due respect.
I think I don't have a problem with doing the research, but I'd also be curious, being a town of our size,
Right.
how many have Bill Speedway. These are much larger towns with a lot more
Yeah, for sure.
real estate and so forth.
For sure.
I also sometimes find these organizations to be where backroom deals get struck. So I
Right.
need to also look at how they work and how they function.
Adam, what was that gentleman we talked to?
Let's see, his name is Rich Taylor. We got to get back in touch with him. Yeah, probably could. We could do that in addition to it, but
So is it truly, and if you don't know the answer, I get it, but is it truly a part of the RDC or is it gonna fall under the council?
I don't think so. I think it's,
It doesn't matter what we think. It matters
Yeah.
what the council thinks.
well, possibly, but I think they work in, from what I gather, they work in concert with each other.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not,
Is
It's-
there a gap? Is any commission or committee or council not doesn't have time to do what this?
No,
Is there a need for this? right now?
my loose understanding of it at this moment is that it's a legal structure, completely legal under Indiana law, that allows it's a way of municipalities being able to hold property, and there are different benefits to having it. So it's the same. It's the same concept of, for example, in Carmel, the land that they buy. A lot of times it's, if not all the time, it's not held by the city of Carmel. It's not held by the Carmel Redevelopment Corporation, Redevelopment Committee. It's held by the Community Development Corporation. So when you have that legal framework set up, there are different benefits to it, presumably in terms of bonding, bidding, things of that nature. So I think it's worth looking into.
With the CUC, I believe, can go after some blighted property and acquire that and then turn it over for economic development purposes.
Where do they get their funding? Do you know that? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm asking a question. I mean, that's scary. Yes, that's why we're asking about research.
Right.
I mean, if it's something the community needs, I don't know why.
I think it's something that we need to.
Worth at least exploring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring more information.
So, Alex, is that something you could do some research on? Maybe in January we can discuss it? Is that enough time? Okay. That's great. And then lastly, this is an easy one. Is unfortunately the Carve Market project at Urban Forest Designs is dead. It's very disappointing. We've had multiple emails, phone calls, all sorts of things. And simply put, Carve Market is still very interested in Fortville and doing something here. They just were not able to come to an ultimate agreement on that, to lease that building. It's very disappointing. Correct. They could not come to an agreement. Yeah, and they were very close, but in the end, Carve said there's not a deal that we can live with. So,
Just.
yeah, yes, we did.
Resources
That's right,
to
we did.
make them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's very disappointing. So what I'm doing is that since that project is dead, to just rescind the commitments that have been made. Certainly, if anything changes, you can do that, but might as well rescind the commitment and you have some more money to use for public purposes.
Vote on that, yes.
Right.
And that was a financial commitment over 20 years, if I remember it.
Yeah, it was a 15.
Segment,
Yeah.
0 to 5.
Yeah, it was a $375,000 pledge that the RDC made. Yeah. So it was initially made back in August and then amended in October. So I'd recommend you take a motion to just rescind all the commitments on
I'll
them.
make a motion that we rescind the funding to Carve Market project and the parking lot.
I will second that emotion and motion.
Emotion and motion.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, we have a motion to rescind the commitment to Carve. Any discussion? All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that's it for me tonight.
So I guess the question is, or any other location might be of interest.
We have,
That up to Stephen Swing.
Army had, the boys had approached him about that
uh-huh.
prior to them bringing their proposal to us. They had talked to Stephen. Yeah.
About the Dairy Queen, what's
Yeah, not sure that.
Yeah.
I know the Harmony guys were worried about that building structurally,
Yeah.
right? Because one of them was a engineer, or had an engineer
Yeah,
background.
Yeah,
and he
there's an
said
issue. The beams?
something pretty scary going
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Is that it for you?
That's it.
Thank you, Adam.
Got any questions, anything?
Yeah. Well, we're in discussions of buying land and property. I'd mentioned it to somebody a while back. What about that parking lot on Main by the creek? Why don't we pursue that? Go after that? That makes a lot of sense logistically. No? Perfect. I'm on board with the CDC then. All right. So that would not go anywhere?
Farrell's not going.
I mean, we can always try again. We haven't talked to him about it in a few years. Maybe things have changed. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I think it's worth a phone call. Okay.
All right.
Doesn't cost.
Ask and you shall receive.
Absolutely.
Power in the sea.
And I feel like we did appraisals years ago on those, no?
All right. Let us know what he says.
Okay.
Any other board comments?
I have none.
Mike, did not get a chance to welcome you last month, so welcome aboard. Thank you for serving with us.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, you're old hat now. You've been around. All right, looking for a motion to adjourn. 7:21.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Hallelujah.
All right, thanks, Alex.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes, same to you.